Hello everybody, Cooper here, and welcome back to another episode of Youth to Gold here on Cricket Captain 2024. I hope you're all doing very well today. Last episode, we crushed the first half of the Vitality Blast. We started the first 7 games unbeaten, and then we lost against Warwickshire of all teams towards the end of the end of the episode, which was great. So if you wanted to go back and watch me lose, that was the thing that happened. We now have Lancashire at home. Oh, sorry, Lancashire away, I should say. It's in Manchester, so I suppose home of the Manchester Originals, but obviously it's Lancashire today. We'll continue forward. India have won the Test Championship, which is great. Good for them. And 2 of my youth players have now been selected for England, which is a good thing, I suppose. But it also means I don't have 2 of my best players, which makes me sad. First of all, we'll have a look at the Test Championship final. We sort of covered half of this towards while the end of the episode was happening. Rishabh Pant bowled 13 overs in this game, apparently. That's the thing that happened. Pakistan got 484 all out in their first innings. India batted, got 504, did a really good job. Then in the second dig, Pakistan all out for 239 with Mavi, who I'm not familiar with. He picked up 5 wickets. And then 233 for 1. They chased it down in 38 overs. Jaiswal getting probably man of the match honours, getting 200s in that final. He's averaging 67 in Test cricket, which is outrageous. Pujara also got some good runs. And yeah, India are Test Championship champions for this season. And with Bannister and Higgins both being unavailable for selection, I am going to say that 2 coaching sessions have now become available. And that is the case. We're going to give aggressive bowling to Brownlow, and then we'll just give general technique to Foyle, who actually we'll send him to catching and keeping. Actually, no, we can't do that. General technique for batting is what we're going to do. Obviously, we are going to have to make a few changes. We're going to have to make a few changes anyway, just due to the course of Higgins and Bannister being dropped, but also because Fulks is not a first-class player. So we're going to bring Peter Siddle back in. Higgins is going to come out, obviously. Davies is going to replace Shanaka. Foyle, I suppose, is going to make his first-class debut batting at 4. So that is good for him. And to replace Bannister, do I gamble with Sanderson, or do I gamble with 2 of the younger players? Do I go with Sanderson, who's got a bit more experience? The conditions aren't great in terms of the weather. It looks pretty flat. It's not really going to spin, so there's no point in playing Brownlow. I think we might just take it easy and go with Sanderson. And the batting order, I don't know what the batting order is going to look like. I'm going to have to play around with it. I think it's going to look something a little like this. So we've got Follett, Flintoff, Davies. That is usually the case with our first-class lineup. Then Foyle's going to bat at 4. Vasconcelos going to captain and keep at 5. Sykes is going to stay at 6. Willie at 7. Siddle's going to bat at 8 in place of Bannister. Minto is going to bat at 9. Armstrong at 10. And then Sanderson at 11. I don't feel good about this, really. Let's be honest. Jimmy Anderson's still playing. I forgot about Jimmy Anderson. We'll have to have a look at his stats in a minute. We've won the toss, which is great. The pitch is pretty flat and it's a little cloudy, so we could bowl first, but I think I'm just going to keep it simple and bat first. Jimmy Anderson, 42 years of age, 748 Test wickets, over 1,200 first-class wickets. He's still England contracted. He's still contracted for another 2 years. He's going to play forever, this guy. Predictor has us scoring 250 odd. Obviously, without 2 of our best players, Lancashire has a 80% chance of winning, apparently. I wouldn't be surprised if they absolutely belt us. We were so comfortable in this one. We were doing really well. We were 1 for 186, and that collapsed all the way to all out for 230. Not Sanderson. Anderson picked up 4 for. Williams picked up 3. Will Williams, what a name. Mahmood got a hat trick. He picked up Sykes, Willie, and Siddle, basically in hat trick fashion. Flintoff finally got his first-class 100. He batted really well. Anderson picked up the first 4. It just occurred to me, Flintoff got his first class 100 against his old team, his dad's team, and his dad's old teammate in Jimmy Anderson, which is quite funny. Ollie Davies picked up 58. He was the other really good standout batsman. Follett saw off the new ball pretty well, got out for 16, unfortunately. Jimmy Anderson, obviously a quality bowler. Vasconcelos just ran out of partners. He ended up 14 not out. We were all out for 230 in not a great display. Not a good start. We've also lost to just over 2 hours due to the overcastness of the match. And now we've got to bowl relatively well, and the predictor has them scoring almost 400. So I do not like our odds in this game whatsoever. All out for 228. We lead by 2 runs. Pretty even affair so far. Sanderson was by far the best bowler, 5 for 31 in 14 overs. Siddle, pretty ineffective. Minto picked up 2. Armstrong bowled the most overs, was just basically operating at the other end when a fast bowler wasn't on. Willie picked up a wicket, wasn't good. Sykes was just rolling the arm over until the new ball. But Sanderson did a good job. We kept all of their batsmen under 50, which is basically all you can ask. As I said, we're in the lead. Score is almost tied. It's 2 runs in it, and bonus point is equal. Win prediction is a lot closer than it was at the start of the game, but we're getting towards the end of day 2, and it's looking pretty sunny, not too bad for batting, and the same with the start of day 3, but it's sort of that afternoon, evening, and start of day 4 where we've got to keep an eye on. So we'll see how we go, but if we can build this lead up, to around the 250 mark, that would be great. And then if we can, I'll take 250, but considering how lacking we are in the batting department at this point in time, I'll take anything over 230, 240. Pretty poor batting performance, unfortunately. All out for 152. Worst batting performance we've had for a while. Davies, the really only standout, with 60 with the bat. Got 250s in the match. Nobody else scored above 15. Just a really poor performance. Pretty even spread of the wickets, unfortunately. And yeah, they need 155 to win. I don't like our odds whatsoever. We are not even halfway through day 3, and it's looking like a pretty easy victory for Lancashire at this point in time, although the predictor has us at a 3% chance. I don't like our odds, as I said, but we'll see how we go. We'll be competitive, and hopefully we can take a couple of wickets and not completely embarrass ourselves. Yep, they do it pretty comfortably. Win by 7 wickets. Siddle picked up 2, so much better than the first innings. Armstrong again, 1 for 51, just up the other end, keeping it economical. Sanderson was not nearly as good as he was in the first innings, and Minto only bowled the 9 overs in the second innings for them. So yeah, very comfortable win. Unfortunately, we lose. I think that might be our first loss of the county championship in Division 1. I can't remember. I think it might be. No, it's our second. I told a fib. We've lost 2 games so far, so that sits us back down into 3rd, but we do have a game in hand, but I don't think, just with the points and how it all works, we will get back into 2nd with a win, but that is still a disappointing result regardless. After our disappointing result against Lancashire in the county championship, we actually now have a home game against them in the Blast. We are yet to play them in the Blast, and we are 1st and 2nd place, and we're not doing too bad. Obviously, if we win, we go outright 1st. If we lose, we just drop down to 2nd. That will be the case. We're now going to have a quick look at the England game between them and Ireland. It's an ODI, and Bannister on ODI debut has taken 2 for 34, which is pretty good. And I can also see, James Sales, who we released last season, played very few games for us, and yeah, he's now playing for England for whatever reason. But anyway, apparently he took 2 for 69, which isn't great. Ireland got 9 for 233, and if we have a look at the batting innings, we can see Higgins also batting at 5, picked up 33 of 59. They did win the game, which is great. Bannister was batting at 10, so did not get a bat. But neither of our players certainly disgraced themselves on international debut. Now, to replace Higgins and Bannister in the T20 lineup. We're going to go with JT Langridge. He's going to come in for this one. And I think for Higgins, we brought in Ollie Davies, who's going to be playing T20 cricket. He didn't play any Oh, no, he did play T20 cricket. I was wrong. Who did we bring in? If I can remember correctly, it might have been... It was Brownlow. That's who it had brought in. We've gone with the double spinners. That's what we're going to do. We've changed the conditions of the pitch. We are going to go with more of a spinning wicket because I want to trial having 2 spinners in this lineup. We are down to 2 stars without our... You know, we were previously a 4-star or maybe even a 3-star lineup, and then we're now all the way down to 2. Yikes, it's not good. We're going to call heads on the toss. We've lost the toss. We're going to bowl first, which I don't necessarily mind considering we're on a pretty bowling-friendly wicket in terms of the spin. JT Langridge is going to open the bowling with Minto, and I'm getting very excited to see how he can play for us this season. He previously played for Somerset. For some reason, I thought he played for Lancashire previously, but that is not the case. Hopefully, we don't embarrass ourselves too much. They're going to score around 170 predicted. I'm not surprised about that. 5 for 189, not our best performance with the ball. I mean, the spinners took 3 of the 5 wickets, so technically that was a success. Brownlow picked up 2 for 36 on, not T20 debut, but that is his best career figures. Armstrong was 1 for 44, so not his best work, but hopefully we can get a few more wickets into him towards the back end of this tournament. Minto picked up 2. Langridge was really expensive on debut, and Fulks kept the runs down, was the only economical bowler. We've got a chase on our hands, and it doesn't look like England are playing today. What does the predictor have us do? Scoring not very many at all, so we'll see how it goes, but I don't feel good about it. Really poor performance with the bat this time. We got absolutely crushed. We lose by 79 runs. Rampling picks up 4, who was a youth prospect who I think moved from Somerset, if I remember. No, it was Yorkshire. But he's been really good with the ball in T20 cricket this year. He has been exceptional. 18 wickets at 15, really, really good. And then Morley, who is another spinner, he picked up 4 for 7 in basically just under 2 overs. Yeah, not great whatsoever. Davies picked up 35, Vasconcelos 22, Follett had 18, but a really poor performance by us with the bat. We lose, we drop down to second, not ideal whatsoever. And more good performances by our England players. Bannister picks up 4 for 46 in his second one-day international, actually his best one-day figures in all of one-day cricket. 4 for 46 from his 10 overs, I assume, was very good. Ben Duckett getting a bowl, what a guy. And then with the bat, Higgins finishes 29 off 21, not out, along with Joe Jacklin, who is looking pretty good from his first-class career so far. But Higgins averaging 62 in one-day cricket so far. Obviously, there's a not out in there. Averages 50 in all other formats and high 50s as well in limited over stuff. So very, very impressive. We've got to keep an eye on that. Obviously, our England players. But now we have Nottinghamshire at home. We're now down to 1.5 stars now. I think just a few of our guys are no longer in as good a form as was previous. Follett is in 2-star form. That is understandable. Flintoff is still in 5-star form. He's obviously been great. Davies has been pretty good. Vasconcelos still pretty good, but Armstrong down to just under 3-star form as well. So we've clearly not got as strong of a side as we think we do. I might change. We'll put Sanderson in. I know he's not really a T20 bowler, but just for a bit of experience, we might just throw him in. That might make things a little easier for us. We'll get him to open the bowling with Minto. And conditions, I'll leave it as a spinner's wicket for now, and then we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the tournament, because I believe we've only got 5 games to go in the group stage. I dare say we will qualify for the knockout, so that should be fine. But yeah, that net run rate, which was +4 at one point, is all the way down to 2.68. We've still obviously got quite a few games over Yorkshire in third. But we got to get a win here. I want to bat first. If we can help it, we lose the toss again. We're going to bowl. Hopefully having Sanderson in there will get us some early wickets. And if the spinners can be a little bit better, that would be great as well. It's a better bowling performance. We kept them to 8 for 154. We had them 7 for 117, which, I mean, there was a little bit of a partnership between Harrison and Hutton, but we did keep it relatively tight towards the end of the innings. Sanderson was good, 1 for 29. Minto, a little bit expensive. Fulks was really good again, 3 for 13. You know, if possible, we definitely want to bring him back next season. Armstrong, our offie, was pretty good, you know, 1 for 35. It doesn't do him justice because there were some periods where he really kept the runs down for us, and there was a few bigger shots towards the end of his innings. Brownlow was on a hat-trick at one stage, but ended up with 2 for 38. The T20 record is pretty good. It'll be interesting to see how he goes in first-class cricket. He is on a 2-year deal, so that is something we will probably explore, you know, depending if we want to go with 2 spinners in other forms of cricket as well. But definitely a chaseable total. I know that the West Indies and Australia, West Indies not in a good spot, having a test match at the moment. But I think we're going to be okay in this one. The predictor actually has it's only scoring 135. Odds are pretty even, probably in favour of Nottinghamshire. We're Northerns. Nottinghamshire a little bit at the moment. But we'll see how we go. We need some runs out of Follett. He is in a horrible, horrible patch of form. Has a couple of high scores here and there. That 336 not out. Really his only decent score of the season. He scored, 4 other scores of 50 plus in 20 innings. So not great, but hopefully we can get some runs into him finally. Fingers crossed. We chased it down pretty comfortably, but unfortunately no runs into Follett this game. He made 15 off 15, was really struggling, to be perfectly honest. Flintoff and Davies had a really good partnership for the second wicket, just over 60 runs in that one. Flintoff got out just before he made his half century. Davies was really good, 66 off 35. Vasconcelos didn't really make an impact on this one, and David Willey hit 2 sixes to win the game, which was really nice. We win by 6 wickets. Australia beat the West Indies by 309 runs, which isn't a surprise. And Lancashire lose to Durham. They don't lose by much, but I dare say that will put us back into first place. And as predicted, we are in first place once again with 4 games to play. Derbyshire are 5 points behind Lancashire, so I dare say we will either finish first or second, depending on the results of our game, as well as the results of the Lancashire games. We'll continue forward, and we've got Yorkshire at home, which is tough. They're currently 4 stars. If we have a look at their side quickly, if we go to, where are they? Yorkshire. Who's played T20 cricket for them this year? So Johnny Bairstow, Holbrook, who's overseas, Lyth, Milan, Root, James Wharton, looks very good. Steve Smith, but he's also overseas. Liam Livingston, but he's also overseas now. Dom Bess, averaging 50. Wow. Ben Code. Yeah, they've got a very good team. Shaheen Sharifi's played some cricket for them. England have beaten Ireland in their 3rd one-day international, and we'll have a look at the results. Bannister, none for 41 with the ball, wasn't too good. That's batting form. But if we have a look at his stats, 6 wickets at 20.17 is certainly not bad for your first international series, but that is not what we want to have a look at. We want to have a look at John Higgins. Picked up 106 not out, his first international century. He's currently averaging 168, which is hilarious, but so good so far in international cricket. Very happy for the 19-year-old, and most importantly, they have now returned from international duty. Martin has increased his attacking bowling to the limit. We might just go aggressive one-day bowling now, and let's have a look at what the lineup's going to be. So I assume Higgins is going to come back in as well as Bannister, which is great. I just have no idea what the team's going to look like. I decided to take Sanderson out as the replacement for Higgins, or Higgins the replacement for Sanderson, I should say. I didn't think he bowled badly, but I just think we've got enough bowling between Sykes, Willie, Fulks, Bannister, Minto, and Brownlow, who we also took out Armstrong as well. We're going to send him back to the second 11 for some development. Higgins is going to return to bat at 4 in T20 cricket, where he's averaging 59, which is awesome. Davies is going to bat at 3. Vasconcelos is going to drop to 5. Sykes, Willie, Fulks, Bannister, Minto, Brownlow, and then Follett and Flintoff at the top. In terms of the pitch, it's a away game, so we can't do anything about it. But I think I'm going to return to a pretty batting-friendly wicket, just based on the recent not success we've had. And we don't have 2 spinners, so there's no need to have a spinning wicket anymore. So I think that's what we're going to do. Yorkshire away, tough fixture. We're going to call... What do we call on the toss? We'll call heads on the toss. And we've lost the toss again. Let's bowl first. And what does the predictor say? 170, which is definitely chaseable based on the recent form when we've had our full squad, I suppose. But Bannister back is important. He's been in excellent T20 form. If we just have a look, yeah, 13 wickets at 15's been incredible. We just got to bowl really well. I mean, that seems obvious, but we just got to bowl really well. 158, we bowled really well. They were going pretty quickly in the top order, but then they just ran out of wickets. Willie was going at over 4 or just on 14 runs and over. Brownlow picked up 3 for 45, got a lot of wickets, but was expensive, as you can probably tell. Fulks was good, 1 for 34. Minto was really good, best of the bowlers by far, 4 for 22. Bannister was really economical on return, and then Sykes bowled the last 2 overs in replacement of Willie. He got 1 for 6 from 1.5 to have them all out for 158. Really happy with this performance, and the win predictor has us winning this one most of all 61% of the time. I think we're a chance. Pretty flat wicket. Let's just not lose too many wickets, hopefully. It's been a little while, but we finally get a good innings out of Follett, and we win, coincidentally, by 8 wickets. Very comfortable run chase for us in the end. Follett, 60 off 38, a couple of plays and misses, but pretty good. Pretty good. Finally got some runs on the board. Flintoff and Davies weren't too bad, but Code picked their wickets up. Higgins, on his return from international duty, 65 not out of 32. Just showing perhaps that he's a little bit of a class above. He's in very good nick. Of his last 7 innings, only 1 score where he's gotten out. He hasn't gotten a half century. And every other score, you know, obviously the 29, he got a not out. But every other score, it's 50 plus. It's actually 60 plus. He is doing exceptionally well. He's now averaging 65 in T20 cricket. Obviously, there's a few not outs there that does help out the cause. But a tremendous start to his white ball career. Very happy with how he played in this one. And it should be said that Minto does get player of the game for his 4 for 22. Not too surprising. He bowled tremendously well. Our next game is a home game. It's Derbyshire at home. We've got the spinners pitch at home. We're going to change that because I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back to playing on maybe not a flat wicket, but maybe just a paces pitch. I wish there was an option where you could just pick kind of a neutral pitch, but that is something perhaps for maybe next year in Cricket Captain. So we'll go with the paces pitch for this one. We've got Sykes, Willie, Fulks, Bannister, and Minto, who can all bowl relatively well. Sykes is averaging 8 with the ball, which is incredible. 4 wickets in 5 overs, really good. But I've got confidence in that top order. We're starting to come into a bit of form that we can perhaps get a few runs on the board in spite of the conditions. Little overcast in the second innings, but I'm not too worried about it at this stage. Derbyshire, they've got Rashid Khan, so probably good to move away from the spinning wicket. They've also got Mohammad Amir as their other overseas player. We're going to call heads on the toss. We've won the toss. I think we'll bat first in spite of the conditions. And the predictor has us scoring around 170. We're a good chance of winning. Let's see if we can go against the conditions. Fortunately for us, we do better than the conditions predicted that we would. Once again, the opening partnership between Follett and Flintoff got 63. That was in the power play, I believe. Then Follett got out. Flintoff not long after. Follett got a 32, Flintoff 55. Davies was the last man out, I believe. He got 77. The middle order didn't give us too much. Fulks batting at 8 got us 21. Bannister got us 16. Both of those are off 10 balls. And then Brownlow, off the last 2 balls, hit 2 fours, which was great. In terms of them, pretty expensive. Chappell, 15 runs and over. It was the 2 overseas players that did the most damage. But I was pretty happy with how he performed today. Predictor has us defending this one pretty comfortably. I dare say they won't be chasing down 240 odd in their 20 overs, but you never know. All out 150, pretty convincing bowling performance by us. Willie, 4 for 15 from 3.1 was really good. Brownlow and Fulks picked up 2 apiece. Minto was really the only expensive bowler. I mean, you could say Brownlow is expensive, but Minto going at 10.5 and over. Bannister was pretty good, 12 dot balls in his 4 overs, 1 for 21 to him. And David Willey gets player of the game. Very, very good, just all-round performance for us. Good with the bat, good with the ball. I dare say we're still top of the table. And yes, we are top of the table. 2 games to go in the group stage. I don't know if we'll get there today. We'll have a quick look at how the schedule looks. But everybody else has still got a few games to play in the North Division. South, pretty even. I mean, there's 2 games between first and 5th. With us, there's 5 games between first and third. So yeah, a lot less competitive. We've got another blast game. It's Leicestershire away, but we'll have a quick look at the fixtures. We've got, okay, I reckon this might be the last game of, now we'll sneak in, we'll do these. We'll do Leicestershire away, Durham in the championship, and then Lancashire as our final blast game. We'll do all of those now unless the 100 starts, which it doesn't. Very, very good. England currently are playing a test match against India. They're getting absolutely belted, but none of our guys are in the team at least, or none of them have even been called up for duty, which selfishly is very good for us, meaning they can play for us. But obviously we want to get them, or as many of our players, international experience as we can. What do we do with the squad at Leicestershire? The conditions, it's spinning, so we might bring Armstrong back. How's he been going in the second 11? He's been getting a few wickets, so we might bring him back. I think Sykes might be the unlucky one here, actually. We'll bring Sykes out. We'll bat Willie at 6, Fulks at 7, Bannister at 8, and I think Armstrong's going to bat at 9. Sykes hasn't even been bad. It's just, it's a spinning wicket. Actually, his batting form's not that great. So we'll just send him to the second 11 for this game. And if the pitch returns to something that's a bit more, pace friendly, we'll play him in the next game. But apart from that, no other changes going into this one. A few of our players are looking very tired. We might need to actually fix up the physio. Who's getting physio at the moment? Langridge, who's not even playing. Siddle, who's not even playing. Brownlow, he's fine. Armstrong is fine. We'll give physio to Follett, Flintoff, Davies. Bannister and Higgins probably got physio while on international duty, so I won't worry about it for them. And we'll give it to Vasconcelos as well. We'll call tails. Actually, it's looking pretty overcast, so we'll probably bowl first if we can. We win the toss. And yeah, as I said, we are going to bowl first in these spinning conditions. Predictor has them scoring 160. It's actually basically 50-50, 1% for the tie. Pretty keen for these conditions. The spinners absolutely crushed it. We bowled them all out for 118. It was actually the final wicket that there was a bit of stuff. It was actually the final 2 wickets. There was a bit of momentum with the bat. 38 runs coming in the final 2 wickets. And the opening stand of 25. Apart from that, they were just no good at all. Bannister picked up 2. Minto didn't get any wickets today. But Armstrong, 4 for 32 on return. Brownlow, 2 for 27 in his 4 overs. And Follett, we just gave him, there was 1 wicket to go. We just gave him the ball. And he got hit for 6 and then got the final batsman, Josh Hull, LBW, who he ended up getting 13. But another wicket to Follett. I think that's 3 in T20 cricket now. Not that I'm seriously counting, but it is quite funny that he just gets wickets. 118 all out. Very comfortable run chase is going to be taking place, hopefully. we need less than a runner ball, literally less than a runner ball in the T20. Should be fine. I might actually take this a little slower than normal just to get a little bit of momentum into our top order and then maybe tee off towards the back end of the innings. Well, I think we were too complacent in this one. We lost by 10 runs. We were absolutely awful with the bat. Flintoff and Higgins were not doing too bad. They were 2 for 54, and then Higgins got run out. And then, it just went horribly wrong. And it wasn't even the spinners for them. All the wickets were fast bowling wickets. Scriven picked up 4 for 24. Hull got 2 for 34. Neesham, in his 2 overs, got 3 for 10. Just an awful, awful performance by us. Scriven gets player of the game. No real surprise there. Lancashire also lose, which is kind of a blessing because that means we still maintain top spot going into the final game of the group stage. But yeah, just an awful performance by us. We now have Durham in the county championship, and we look at the conditions. Pretty good, pretty flat. So I dare say we will bring back Sykes for this one. Fulks can't play anyway, so that was a change we were going to make regardless. Do we still go with 2 spinners? I don't know. Brownlow is in really good form. He's been really good as a T20 bowler. We may just stick with him as a T20 bowler for now. I'll bring back Peter Siddle. I'm quite comfortable with him playing in this 11, and we should use both of our overseas players because we are technically paying for them. We'll just rest Brownlow because I want to keep him in good form, although Wagner is also in good form. Do we give Wags a game? He hasn't played for us this year so far. We could do that, but Siddle has been pretty good. Oh, actually, he hasn't been that good. I thought he'd been a little bit better for us than that in first-class cricket. We'll just stick with Siddle for now. Armstrong's only averaging 4, so we'll just swap those 2 around. Actually, Minto can go back to 10. That's fine. Bannister, Minto, Siddle, Armstrong are the bowlers. Willie is going to give the captaincy back to Vasconcelos because Vasconcelos is the first-class captain. Willie is the limited overs captain. Higgins, Davies, Flintoff, and Follett are the batsmen. And then Sykes as well. I forgot. And Vasconcelos, obviously. We'll call heads on the toss. Hopefully something decent happens. We do win the toss. We are going to bat first. It's pretty good batting conditions. Durham are heavy favourites in this one. Our predicted score is 315, but we've only got a 10.5% chance of winning this one despite our relatively strong side. Hopefully we can do a little bit better than 315, although, I will take 315. It's not a bad score at all, but Durham, very heavy favourites in this one. We're now going to declare here 6 for 515. Really good effort with the bat, especially just partly through the way of day 2. Vasconcelos, we're going to declare now 106 off 217. Kind of slow with the bat compared to some of our other batsmen, but really, really good nonetheless. Follett, finally another first-class 100. It has been a little while since he's gotten another one, but he's still averaging 89 on the season. Let's not pretend he's having a bad season. 64 for his career so far. I still think that will come down over time. Flintoff for 79 was the first man to go. Basically cruising. He was doing very well. Davies, 24, wasn't too bad, but just, got a bit stuck. Higgins made 65. Ollie Sykes, 20 off 19, just didn't get too settled, unfortunately. And David Willey batting at 7 that made a really quick 63. Bannister, also 22 off 15, was very good towards the end of his innings. We're going to declare, and we're in a pretty good spot, has to be said. The pitch is still doing a little bit. There's a little bit of turn there for the spinner, so when Armstrong comes on, there's a bit there for him. Bounce is just starting to become a little bit more inconsistent, so I'm hopeful that, what's the predictor say? Well, the winning is actually back in our favour now, but Durham, they're predicted to score 400. They reckon it's going to be a draw 52% of the time, but we'll see how we go. We'll try and avoid the draw if we can help it. We almost made them follow on. They got 1 run over the required total, and it was all due to a final wicket partnership of 30. Minto, with the new ball, both times got 3 for 57. Bannister, not his best bowling performance, 1 for 67. Armstrong bowled the most overs. considering it was a spinning wicket. He got 3 for 90, pretty good figures. Peter Siddle got a couple of early wickets, 2 for 45 to his name. David Willey wasn't that great. He was, awful. And Sykes picked up the other wicket. Jones and Bettingham both made hundreds, and now we have to bat again. I dare say this one will be a draw unless we bat very quickly for the rest of the day and then bowl them out very quickly on day 4. Yeah, draws 50% of the time. We've got the other 30% to win. They've got 20. Our predicted score is 234. I dare say that is because they're assuming we're going to declare. I'm just going to bat pretty aggressively here, I think, and get as big a lead as I can in as short a time as I can. We're going to declare now. Higgins has just gone out for 62, a well-made 62. I believe that's his second half century of the match. Yes, it is. 6 for 226 in just over 50 overs. Batted pretty well. They're going to need almost 400 to win, 376 to win. Follett, Flintoff, Davies, Higgins, Vasconcelos was really the only failure. Everybody else just did their job, scored runs at a pretty high clip. Carter's got 2 for 2, which is quite funny. But as I said, we are going to declare. There is 24 minutes left in day 3. Now 14 minutes left after the innings change. Pitch is looking pretty good. It's turning. There's a little bit of sort of that afternoon session on day 4. There could be a little bit of rain, but I think we've got plenty of runs on the board. We're a real shot of winning this. 46% chance. Draw is 34%. Durham is just under 20. Their predicted score is 287. I think we are a real shot. Came down to the final 45 minutes of the game, but we get it done. Durham all out for 241. Armstrong picks up 2 wickets. Minto gets 2. Siddle gets 1. Bannister 5 for 57. Only his third 5-wicket innings in his first-class career. Ollie Robinson makes 109. Was resisting a little bit. We had them really, really good really early. 3 for 18, and then that partnership between Lees and Robinson just kicked things up a notch. But yes, once Robinson was gone, I felt pretty confident that we could get it done. What a win. And good to see Follett getting player of the match honours for his 112 and his 40 in the second dig. Pretty happy with this result. And if we have a look at the table, we're still sitting in third, but we've got a game in hand. And potentially if we win, that could put us in top spot. But I don't know who our next game is. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. We now have our final Vitality Blast game of the group stage. And unfortunately, Fulks has been called up for international duty, which is less than ideal. Fielding session, we've got to take off the physio. I think Higgins needs some physio now. He's getting a little tired. We don't want him to get injured. Bannister will get him some physio, and Sanderson doesn't play. We'll give Martin some physio, even though he doesn't play. I suppose we'll bring in Pot Guider. I dare say that's what we'll do. So we'll just send him to not bowling form, just ground fielding practice. Conditions are looking pretty good for batting, so I don't see a need to play the 2 spinners. So I dare say we'll bring Sykes back in, even though Armstrong bowled really well in the first class stuff. And we'll bring in Pot Guider for Fulks, which we were going to do anyway. So Sykes, actually, how are we going to do this? I reckon Willie will bat at 8, Pot Guider will bat at 7, Sykes at 6. I think that's what we'll do. And then the main bowlers will be Pot Guider, Willie, Bannister, Minto, Brownlow. Pretty comfy with that. Minto's had 4 innings and he hasn't scored a run yet. That is quite funny. But yeah, pretty comfy with this lineup. Lancashire are, I believe, in second place. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Yes, they are in second place. So if they win, because of the net run rate, I dare say we'll stay top. But very interesting to see how this one's going to play out. I think we'll call heads on this one. We've won the toss. We will bat first. Oh, Lancashire, real dominant. Lancashire, 76% chance of winning this one. I reckon we're only going to score 158. I hope we do better than that. Follett and Flintoff are going to be opening as they have done all season. Flintoff in really good form, averaging just under 40 in T20 cricket for his career. Obviously 42 this season. He's played the one other game in which he got a duck. 40 in first class cricket. He hasn't played any one-day cricket for us. Follett, not had the best T20 campaign, averaging 24. But we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed we can get more than 160. Yep, 154 is pretty good. Bannister, 29 of 15, really helped out the cause towards the back end of the innings. Minto still has not scored a T20 run in 5 innings, which is quite funny. Nobody scored above 34. Davies, 34 of 14, 4 sixes in that innings. Vasconcelos just sort of steadied the ship in the middle order. Sykes got another golden duck. Only his second in his career. I thought he had more than that. Flintoff and Follett didn't really do all that well at the top of the order. Higgins hit a 6, then got out LBW. Sales, who was one of our former players, picked up 3 for 34. So yeah, not ideal. How's the second test against India going? Ollie Pope got 100. Good for him. Blake Moore playing his first test and he got 95. Not too bad. He's currently averaging 83 for Middlesex. So I'm not surprised that he got called up to play some cricket. Anybody else that I can have a look at who is playing? No real surprises here, I don't think. So anyway, we've got to defend 155 and Lancashire hold all the cards here, basically. Their predicted score's 154, but I think they'll be fine. Yeah, they've got a pretty good side. And we get absolutely belted. They win by 9 wickets. Phil Salt and Sai Sudarshan, I believe that's how you say that name. He averages 71 in one-day cricket. Wow. Yeah, finished not out. Both made half centuries at a pretty good clip. Pot Guida got the only wicket, and yeah, not a good bowling performance whatsoever. But fortunately for us, we still finished up at the table. And in our first knockout game, we have Surrey, and I have no idea where they finished. I believe they're in the other division. Yeah, they finished 4th, 8 wins, 6 losses. We end up 10 wins, 4 losses. Probably should have been a couple more wins in there, but you know what? I would take that. We've played pretty well in this tournament so far. Clearly the best team in terms of net run rate, but a couple of losses that probably should have been wins. And our next game will be the Surrey game on the 7th of July. Ollie Davies has improved his boundary hitting, which is good. So we'll just leave that as is for now. But I think that's going to do it for today, guys. Bit of a longer episode. But thank you so much for tuning in for this longer one. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And until then, hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you guys then. Bye.